Can I just say I hate this shirt? Like, I just picked it out of the drawer, I didn't know what it said, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wear this today. What's up guys, I'm JCoombs7 here. I'm going to be starting a new series on my own channel and the Quality Team channel, so if you're from my channel, go subscribe to that channel. It is awesome. I'm going to be doing our first versus movie series that I'm going to be starting, which is going to be very fun because I'm really excited to do this. I've been waiting to do this for a long time. Ever since Guardians of the Galaxy 2 came out, I was like, you know what? I'm going to pit this up against Wonder Woman and see which one's better. So yeah, I mean, obviously, I do have a favorite amongst the two of them, but I mean, I don't think I should, like, talk about it much. Guardians. Forget it. Let's just kick it off right now with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 versus Wonder Woman. Let's get into it. Action. So I'll be honest, the main reason we go to see action superhero movies is for the action. I mean, sometimes it might be for the humor, which was actually mostly the reason I went to Guardians. But, like, most of the the main reason you go to see superhero movies or action movies or stuff like that, it's for the action. It's for your characters to be created onto the big screens and see how cool it is to see them fight in, like, I don't know, HD or 1080p. I'm not that smart. This was probably the most important thing I could have, like, to rank by. This is probably the hardest one as well, because, well, it's really, really difficult to see which movie's better just by the action. That you can't say that, but the action does have an important role in something like this. So, that was hard. It was hard for me to put these movies against each other, but in the long run, I'm gonna have to say that Wonder Woman had the better action scenes. Just realizing now, I forgot to say spoiler alert. All Guardians did open up with a good start, like with Baby Groot dancing to Mr. Blue Sky by someone. Yeah, that was an amazing action scene while Baby Groot was oblivious to everything that was happening at the start. Wonder Woman's action scenes, they didn't have a starting action scene, or at least I can't remember if they did have one. Their first real action scene was on the battlefront where, like the Amazons and the Germans, they were all fighting just before Chris something guy. He showed up, he showed up just before then, they start fighting, and that was an okay action scene, but I mean, I definitely think that Guardians has the better action scene, but the real thing that took the cake for me was definitely the No Man's Land fight. If you guys have seen the movie Wonder Woman, you'll know what I'm talking about. The No Man's Land fight, oh my gosh, that was amazing. No Man's Land was a place in World War I where this movie takes place during. No Man's Land was where two trenches are on each side, and No Man's Land is like in between both trenches. If you go out there, you're gonna die. Sure, for some people, and meaning me, I know I definitely enjoyed it. I thought it was amazing to see someone like that, especially, like, I'm not saying being sexist, but seeing a woman go out there, specifically a woman, because women, like, were treated differently back in World War I. But seeing someone like that go out there and kick butt, that was amazing to see. And sure, Guardians of the Galaxy did have some good fight scenes, especially the Sovereign Unit fight, around, like, slightly after the starting battle with Baby Groot. That was an amazing action scene, but it can't live up to No Man's Land fight. That was too amazing. If you guys have seen Wonder Woman, you'll know what I'm talking about. Plot. Plot is another important thing, just like the action, only this time the plot goes for every single movie you'll ever watch. You need a good plot for every movie you see, because it kind of ruins the experience for it. And of course, this is gonna come in spoilers. I'm pretty sure spoilers comes for, like, each individual category. But the plot for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it mostly doesn't revolve around the Guardians. It mostly revolves around, like, basically, They protect the Sovereign Unit's batteries or whatever it was. They they steal the batteries. Then the Sovereign Unit are mad, and that's when the Sovereign Unit try to attack them. And Peter's dad shows up, saves them, and then pretty much the rest of the movie takes place with on like Ego. That's Peter's dad's name. The rest of the movie takes place on his planet. He created a planet. He then turns bad and tries to kill the Guardians, and obviously that doesn't work. That's the plot. Like, at the start of the movie, pretty much, but like, kind of at the start of the movie, you don't know what's gonna happen, like, while you're watching the movie. After the movie, you're like, well, they really weren't doing much. The entire reason this all started was because Rocket stole some freaking batteries he didn't need, but that kind of ruins, like, the plot to it, because they really didn't have anything planned after the battery stealing thing. But Wonder Woman takes place when Mr. Crispy Bacon over here, he arrives on the island, and she needs to go with him and stop World War One. The second he gets there, boom, you know that she's going to kill Ludendorff. That was who she wanted to kill, because she thought he was the bad dude. But I think telling more would not make any sense. But she needs to get over to World War One place. I think it was London. Yeah, jolly old London. Not for everyone. Why did I quote the movie? She gets to London. She gets to jolly old London. And then, like, she's just gonna go fight some bad guys or something like that. You know that. Now, personally for me, and I forgot to mention this is an unbiased list, thing. This is an unbiased list. But, for me, I personally liked the mystery style plot that Guardians had, because you just don't know what's gonna happen, and that makes the first watching of the movie way more exciting. But it's not great from a, standard, plot. It's not good for an actual plot, which is why Wonder Woman takes this one again, because it just doesn't work as a movie, for a plot. It just doesn't work. So that's why I put Wonder Woman for another point. Humor. Who do you think will win this list? I gotta give it to Wonder Woman. They did have some funny moments, but Guardians of the Galaxy is mostly specifically known for their amazing humor. And so, you can't beat Guardians of the Galaxy in a joke battle or whatever it is. You can't do that. You can't beat them in a laugh battle. There's no way, unless you're pulling I don't think you can. If you're doing an action movie, and unless you're Marvel, you can't beat Guardians of the Galaxy for laughing in an action movie. That's just really too hard. Even Star Wars. Star Wars had some funny moments, but you can't beat Guardians of the Galaxy in that. Heroes. The heroes category and the next category are pretty, in my opinion, kind of stupid, but I think they kind of need to be here because, well, you come here for them. So basically, the heroes in Guardians of the Galaxy follow the Guardians of the Galaxy, which with a couple new members. There's Yondu, who showed up in the last movie. There's Nebula, who also showed up in the last movie, and a new one who's Mantis. She is Ego, Peter's dad. She's his servant. So those are the Guardians of the Galaxy. They are the newer version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And then there's Wonder Woman. And that's it. It was that little squad that Wonder Woman went with during the movie along with Crispy Bacon, but I don't know, I just don't consider them heroes. I think it's just pretty much Wonder Woman by herself. Sure, those guys are good marksmen, but that's pretty much all they are. That's pretty much all there is for them. So that kind of doesn't work. That kind of really does not work as, a technical standpoint. I don't know what I just said, but all I'm saying is Guardians does take the heroes category, specifically because they added amazing new additions to the Guardians, which gave them a lot better humor, especially for Baby Groot. I guess you could consider Baby Groot a new category because, well, spoiler alert for the first one, he died and they salvaged some sticks or whatever, and now he's a baby. Now he's a baby, he regrew, he's a baby, and I guess you could consider him a new character, but you could also consider him an old character. But I give Guardians this point because they handle it very well with humor, with Mantis and Baby Groot and Drax. All those guys, they handle it very well with the humor. Now, Wonder Woman, like, transitioning into the real world of, Earth's normal culture, that is something to keep in mind. It is funny seeing her, be confused about everything that's happening, but you just can't do it because the heroes, villains. Finally, we have villains. Now, let me just say this now. I consider villains to be very, very important to video games or movies or books or whatever you want. Any story. It has to have a good villain. If you have a villain, it has to be a good villain. They're very important because the villains, they're your roadblock. They're your roadblock of your task, of your thing that you need to do. They're the roadblock in which they're blocking the protagonists from doing what they want to do. And so that's important. That's very important for something like that. Who had the better villains, though? It comes down to this, because both movies have 2 points, and whichever one wins this. Who won? Now, for Wonder Woman, they had Ludendorff, or however you say it, and Ares, the god of war. And for Guardians of the Galaxy, they had, spoiler alert, they had the Sovereign Unit and Ego, the dad, as I mentioned before. Oh man, this was really hard because both sides of the villains, they both did amazing jobs. And I find it funny how all these villains, like Ludendorff and Ares and Sovereign Unit and Ego, neither of them actually interact with each other. Neither of them ever interact with each other. Which is interesting, because if those 2 villains, you kind of think it'd be smarter to interact with each other. But I gotta hand it to Guardians on this one, okay? I know I said this wasn't gonna be as biased as possible, but I just think that the Guardians of the Galaxy had the better villains. And here's why. Because the Sovereign Unit, they were kind of boring, but their interests in killing the Guardians of the Galaxy was, very stupid, but funny to watch. And here's why. Because the reason they want to kill them is because they just stole some batteries. That's the reason they want to kill them. And it's interesting because during the movie, Yondu states, we ain't stupid enough to kill the Guardians of the Galaxy. The whole dang Nova Corps would be on us. That's the quote he gives us. Which clearly shows that the Nova Corps don't want the Guardians to die or be killed because they saved Xandar. They were pretty much the ones who saved Xandar. They killed Ronan, and they were the ones who did it. I mean, the Ravengers helped, but the Guardians pretty much did most of it, which is interesting because the Ravengers don't want to kill them, but the Sovereign Unit does. The Sovereign Unit wants them killed because they stole some freaking batteries. Sovereign Unit, get your crap together. For Ego, he wants, basically, he's not human. We were given that in the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 1. He, plants a part of himself and, plants it in the ground. So when he, basically, he wants all of the universe to be himself. That's what he wants. Which is interesting because, he needs, the second person to rule the world, the universe with him, which is interesting because he, needs the celestial gene, which he's had billions of children for each, species type deal. but all of them have failed him. But Peter has the celestial gene, so he needs to get Peter or whatever, and he can activate all those weird plant things, and they like blow up and cover each world that he planted him on, and he turns that world into his own and turns everything into himself. That is an interesting villain because he wants everything to be himself. Everything about himself is this freaking jerk. And that's interesting because the Wonder Woman villains are really boring. First off, which makes Ludendorff a villain and able to actually fight Wonder Woman, because Ludendorff is just a general of the German army. That's what he is. He's a German general or whatever. And he sniffles up this weird gas that Mrs. Poison or whatever her name is. He sniffles up this weird gas, which turns him stronger or whatever, and he now can fight Wonder Woman, which is really boring. He only starts fighting Wonder Woman because she wanted to kill him. That's a dumb villain type guy. Which, I mean, you could argue about how Wonder Woman had better villains, but Ares, oh gosh, he's awkward. And anyone who's seen Wonder Woman will know what I'm talking about when I say he's awkward. There we go. Guardians of the Galaxy wins against Wonder Woman in unbiased as possible, but I think I got a little biased in there, but I'm sorry about that. But I still think Guardians would have won even if I wasn't biased. So yeah, if you guys liked this video, please like and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys all later.